On the Christmas morning of 2011, the children of Giselle Preston and William Wallace gathered under the Christmas tree in their home in Anaheim, California. Joy and excitement filled their heads as they anticipated the festive celebration, with all family members coming together and gifts waiting to be unwrapped. The children saw their mother sitting in a chair wearing sunglasses. William, her husband, told the kids that their mom had drunk too much the night before and had ruined Christmas. However, the children were too young at that moment to comprehend what was happening. They were more interested in the gifts awaiting them. Little did they know that their mother, sitting in front of them, had already ceased to breathe. Now, before we get to the main content, please hit the subscribe button to support the channel. Welcome back, it's me again, and today we will delve into the death of Giselle Preston, who was murdered by her own husband, William Wallace, on the night just before Christmas. Not only that, but he also propped up her body to make it appear as if she were still alive and deceived their own children. William Wallace, 39 years old, and Giselle Preston, 26 years old, were a couple who had a small child, a baby boy just a few weeks old at that time. Giselle also had two daughters, aged 3 and 8, from her previous relationship. The couple lived with their children in an apartment in Anaheim, Southern California. In an effort to improve her own life and that of her family, Giselle decided to attend college with the goal of becoming a domestic violence counselor, an issue she herself was trapped in. On Giselle's Facebook profile, she shared pictures of the happy moments in her life, images of friends and her own children, a family filled with her moments of joy alongside her husband William. Thinking about these photos, perhaps no one could have guessed what truly happened behind them. This photo was posted on October 23, 2011, just about 2 months before the fateful Christmas day, when Giselle's life was taken by the man embracing her from behind. Giselle's marriage was not as happy as she portrayed online. William was a very violent man, and his violent behavior manifested even before he entered into a marriage with Giselle. A relative of Giselle visiting her at home once witnessed her walking outside in a dazed state, the result of a severe blow to the head. At that time, Giselle was pregnant with her son. William had even been to jail for domestic violence in the past, more than once, but he always returned, seeking forgiveness to reunite with Giselle. Before the Christmas tragedy in 2011, the previous summer, William had just been released on parole for several related charges. However, for some reason, Giselle agreed to let him come back to live with her and the children, a decision she would later regret. On that fateful evening, the couple attended a Christmas party, and upon returning home, neighbors reported hearing loud arguments from Giselle and William's apartment. The verbal altercation escalated into physical violence, and witnesses reported seeing William lifting someone using his strength. The argument shifted from words to physical violence, and William repeatedly struck Giselle in the head. At one point, Giselle tried to escape the apartment, but William caught and pulled her back inside. The situation escalated to the point where William threw Giselle onto a glass table, causing it to shatter. According to the eldest daughter, who was 8 years old at the time, she had to help her father pull her mother into the bathroom and remove pieces of broken glass from Giselle's body. She also mentioned that when her father carried her mother into the bathtub, her mother's head was slammed against the toilet. Afterward, William brought his wife's body into a room, laid her down as if she were peacefully sleeping, and then lay down next to her to sleep with her lifeless body. The next morning, William brought Giselle's body into the living room, placed her on a chair, and posed her as if she were sitting there. He put sunglasses on Giselle, telling the children that their mother had drunk too much the night before and was still very drunk. One child recalled that when she approached and touched her mother's skin was very cold. William also told the children that their mother had ruined Christmas, got drunk, and destroyed it. The children, perhaps too excited about their new Christmas presents, didn't pay attention to their mother. They thought she was just sitting there, silently watching them play happily because she was too tired to speak. Little did they know that she had passed away hours earlier. It sends shivers down my spine to think that those children had no idea that their mother was killed by their own father. While they innocently played, thinking it was just another normal Christmas day, a horrifying truth was about to be revealed. A truth that might shatter the trust of these innocent children forever. Zizelle's mother called her that morning and William answered, saying she hadn't woken up yet. He also claimed that Zizelle was so drunk that she had bedwetting. Whether out of guilt for what he had done or realizing he couldn't escape this heinous crime, around 9:30 a.m., William called 911, stating that his wife needed medical attention. When the medical team arrived at the scene, Zizelle's body was still sitting on the chair, wearing sunglasses. William attempted to fabricate a story, claiming that during an argument Zizelle hit him and then accidentally slipped, falling onto a glass table. However, when the police arrived, William can't lie anymore and was arrested. The story of this Christmas night did not have a happy ending, and unfortunately, this is not just a story, it's real life. In her testimony, Heather told the jury that William had engaged in violent behaviors before, thinking that Zizelle would survive his attacks, regardless of the possibility of being arrested and jailed again. However, on that Christmas night, Zizelle's injuries were too severe, and she did not survive. She was beaten to death by her husband while their children were still asleep. Zizelle's family claimed that William was extremely violent and controlling, and they disliked him from the beginning, trying to warn Zizelle about him. William's lawyer, on the other hand, presented a completely different narrative, portraying it as a tragic accident. William is now facing charges for an action he claims he did not commit. People may have known that the relationship between the two was filled with arguments and shouting, but there was also a lot of love. William's defense is that Zizelle, while heavily intoxicated, accidentally slipped, fell onto a glass table and died. However, after examining the crime scene, the police found numerous dents on the walls and a door that had been knocked off its hinges. Relatives of Zizelle stated that William had nearly killed her on several occasions before. He even admitted that both of them had drunk excessively, leading to arguments, and he had physical altercations with her. Yet there was still a statement that could be William's lifeline. His eldest daughter said she saw her mother slip and fall into the table before her father could catch her. William's lawyer argued that both he and his eldest daughter were moving Zizelle to the bathtub, but Zizelle accidentally hit head on the toilet during the process. Wallace also told some people that his wife had a head concussion from the fall, and he only realized it after finding her unresponsive the next morning. William Wallace was arrested in 2011 and has been behind bars since then. However, it wasn't until April 2021 that his trial took place. In that trial, William was sentenced to 15 years in prison, or life imprisonment for second-degree murder. He took away the life of a woman with a future ahead, leaving behind 3 very young children, including a son just a few weeks old. Perhaps in the future they won't even remember their mother's face. This case serves as an example of a toxic relationship. Despite warnings and bad vibes from everyone around Zizelle Preston regarding William Wallace, she disregarded them. Even after he violently attacked her to the point of being imprisoned, she still welcomed him back into her home. Love can exist in various states and shades, and Zizelle might have felt a love for Wallace in a way we can never understand. Perhaps William's lawyer was correct in saying that the relationship between Zizelle and William was not a typical happy marriage, with many arguments. They may have genuinely loved each other, but that love gradually drained the life out of Zizelle Preston, leading her to this tragic end. And this is Creep Factor. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video. And if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting contents.